Hello everyone, my name is Silsper and welcome back or welcome to my channel. And in today's video we're going to be going through the thought process behind this build that you see here. I just built this the other day, so let's get right into it. So starting out here, I just wanted to kind of lay out the terrain. I had been practicing making terrain just previous to this build, and so I wanted to really challenge myself in seeing what I could do terrain wise. And so I've kind of laid out the general shape here and a little lake slash river kind of thing, and I wanted to just kind of add more depth into it, so I added those rocks and I added this I think I was going to make it a bridge. It kind of is a bridge, but like I never really built it as a bridge. Anyway, so I've laid out some shapes here for the towers that are going to be in this castle, and I just kind of eyeball the size and height of these towers, and I wanted to add these kind of I describe them as rings, but they're kind of used to separate parts of the tower from other parts of the tower to make it more interesting rather than just a flat tower. Anyways, so for this roof I wanted to kind of have it flat but tall, and so that's kind of what I did with the roofs. You can see I just made this giant taller tower in the back, and I've started adding the roof, and roofs are my favorite thing to build personally because they're so interesting and so cool to build, and I just love the way you put them together. Anyways, I built this roof, and then I realized that I kind of messed up in the way I'd been doing things, and so I moved it up some to get the, I'll say, balcony. There you can see I've added some supports under the that's holding the roof, and I realized I messed up again by not adding that little ring thing to separate the tower, so I just added that on. Made it a bit different than the other ones that I had done. And then I added railings by using lecterns and carpet, which I think is really cool. And sometimes it's just good to add details, even if you're just in the planning process. I do it all the time. But I wanted to try figuring out how I could make this tower less flat. I talk about that with the rings. So I tried adding some of those little lines, but I ended up doing a little ring thing again. Anyways, coming here to the tree that you can see me building right now. This is my first time building a tree this size, really. I mean, it's not really, but I don't consider myself good at it. But I just kind of thought about where the branches would go, how they would go, and then cover the leaves and cover the branches with leaves and connect them all up. Then I wanted to add kind of falling leaves, so I laid that out with glass, different color glass, using glass panes as well. And in my head I already have the things I want these different colored glass and glass panes to be. For example, the glass panes would be candles, or the glass would be flowers, etc. Anyway, so I've added more island here because I thought it'd be kind of good to have more shape there. And then I surrounded it with water, and then used sand because it's an island and usually islands have sand. Anyways, so now I want to add this kind of big, it's not really a tower, it's more of a, we'll say square. But yeah, we've started a square, and then I'm adding a tower which I just copy and pasted, and I just really tried making it stand out from the box that we built there, and I think it worked really. So now I'm adding roof to the arches there, and I've started a new tower again. This one will have little towers surrounding it, which I've tried doing something like that before and never really got, but I think this one turned out really well. Anyways, so I'm adding another, I'll say gazebo. That's the proper thing, I think, is a gazebo. So I'm adding another gazebo on top of this bigger tower here, and then I'm adding like a little roof or rim to the lower half of the tower, then adding just a little tower there for detail. So now let's focus on the terrain again. I use the command to place emerald above all the diamonds, which would be the grass, and then I use different color wools to see where it would be darker and lighter, and then use that to guide my blocks that I used. And then I decided to make the tree red because red's a good color for a tree, and my inspiration photos in the photo the tree was red. Anyways, so I decided to surround the castle in terrain. I wanted to see how it looked like, and I think it looked good. So I just added more terrain and painted it, added the grass and the stone, and as you can see, I've made the water instead of just blue wool. Anyways, so now I wanted to lay out a village because I didn't want, in my head, I just wanted to have the castle and a village. So that's what I laid that first big piece of land for, was the village. And I've added a little kind of rope bridge diagonally down, which I think the shape turned out pretty good. Anyway, so usually houses are kind of very similar in villages, so I've kind of made them different but same, if that makes sense. Same idea in shape and height, different in shape for some of them. Anyways, so this house down but on the other side of the rope bridge, I wanted to be like a fishing house, and then I've added these trees and made them more like spruce like because I wanted it to be kind of darker, because we've been going with darker colors. Anyways, for the castle, I think I wanted it to be orange, so I did that with white roofs, and the rings have red, and then I've added these like little blue bits, which I really like them. They're really cool. I wasn't sure how they would work, but they worked out well in my opinion. Anyways, I was also trying to figure out more how to detail these towers. So I've added in the very back there a white ring and then white arches here in the front crossing each other. And it kind of gives like this Arabic kind of vibe to it, which I think is really cool. Yeah. So now I'm just filling in the towers, and I'm going to add balconies there, which I think helped it a lot because I was trying to come up with more detail ideas for the build, and I came up with balconies there. Yeah, and then I added like a little S on the tower there. But now let's paint the village, which I went for gray as a foundation block and white for the walls. And I really like this kind of palette that I used for the village because it's so nice. I like the white color for the village. Anyways, so I went ahead and painted the roofs white because the towers were white in the castle, but then it just blended in too much with the actual houses, so I was like, no, we'll do gray. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm replacing all the white that I just onto the houses to make it great. So now the last few things I have to do is just simply make another large tree that I can put around the build, and then the terrain, more terrain around it, which I believe did not get into the replay, unfortunately. But so I wanted to add like kind of hanging vines around it, and then more of those falling leaves. These ones are a bit more large in size because the tree's larger, and kind of same thought process behind this tree as the last tree I made. Red leaves and red falling leaves. Anyway, so as you can see, we've pasted them around, and there's some terrain I was talking about. And yeah, that's the build. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.